We talk about unlocking hidden power. The first thing we need to understand is that this power is already inside you. It isn't something you have to buy. It isn't something the world has to hand over to you. And it certainly isn't something that only special people possess. Every single human being has within them a reservoir of untapped strength, creativity, and resilience that most never fully discover. Think about the times when you surprised yourself. Moments when you did something you once believed you couldn't do. Maybe it was speaking up in front of people. Maybe it was pushing through pain during a hard season of life. Maybe it was finding the courage to start something new even when fear told you to stay still. In those moments, you tapped into just a fraction of what's already there. The truth is, most people live on the surface of themselves. They only operate from the part of their mind and heart that feels comfortable, predictable, and safe. But comfort zones are prisons that keep your hidden power locked away. You see, hidden power isn't visible in your day-to-day routine. It reveals itself only when you dare to step into the unknown. It's like a treasure buried deep under the ground. If you don't dig for it, you'll never find it. And yet, the tragedy is that most people will live and die, never having touched even half of their potential, because they never believed there was something greater within them. This hidden power shows itself in many forms. For some, it's the creativity to design, build, or express something that can touch lives. For others, it's the ability to endure hardship with a strength they didn't know they had. For many, it's the capacity to love, to forgive, or to lead. The power is not identical in everyone, but it is universal. No one was created empty. The challenge is that life, society, and even our own doubts pile so much dust over this treasure that we stop believing it even exists. We accept labels like ordinary, weak, or not enough. And in doing so, we silence the voice inside that keeps whispering, "You were made for more." If you reflect for a moment, you'll realize that every breakthrough in your life came when you ignored that voice of limitation. Maybe you thought you couldn't survive something, but you did. Maybe you thought you couldn't change, but you did. Those were glimpses of the deeper strength that's always been part of you. And if such glimpses can appear during random moments of struggle, imagine what could happen if you deliberately learned how to tap into that reservoir every single day. The key is to stop seeing this power as something mythical or distant. It isn't hiding outside of you. It's hiding within you. It's the confidence you've never tested, the discipline you've never practiced, the creativity you've never nurtured, the love you've never fully given. Unlocking it starts with shifting how you see yourself. The moment you stop saying, "I can't," and start asking, "What if I can?" That is when the ground beneath your feet starts to shake. That is when the lock begins to turn. So I want you to understand this clearly. Your hidden power is not about becoming someone else. It's about peeling back the layers that life has piled on top of you and finding who you already are. It's about realizing that the strength you're searching for isn't waiting somewhere in the future. It's waiting right now, inside the person you see in the mirror. The question is not whether the power exists. The real question is, will you dare to search for it, to believe in it, and to use it? Because the day you say yes to that, you'll never see yourself the same. The step in unlocking your hidden power is facing the truth about the barriers you've built in your own mind. Most people think their greatest obstacles are outside of them. Circumstances, lack of opportunity, or the opinions of others. But if we're honest, the strongest walls are often the ones we've created ourselves. Fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs are like invisible chains that tie us down. You don't see them, you don't always acknowledge them, but they are there, holding you back from stepping into the life you're capable of living. Fear is the loudest of these chains. Fear whispers that if you try, you'll fail. Fear tells you that you're not ready, not good enough, not worthy. And the tragic part is that people listen. They let fear convince them that staying safe is better than chasing something greater. But here's the truth: fear is nothing more than a signal. It's not a wall, it's a doorway. Whenever you feel fear, it's usually pointing straight at the place where your hidden power is waiting to be discovered. Think about it. Every time you've done something that once scared you, you came out stronger. Fear doesn't mean stop, it means step forward. Then comes doubt. Doubt is more subtle than fear, but it's just as dangerous. While fear shouts, doubt whispers. It creeps in quietly and makes you question yourself, your worth, your dreams. It's that inner voice that says, what if you're not cut out for this? What if you're just fooling yourself? Doubt loves to disguise itself as logic, making you think you're being realistic. But the reality is, doubt doesn't predict the future. It only paralyzes the present. When you give in to doubt, you hand over your power without even realizing it. And then there are the limiting beliefs. the silent scripts you've been carrying for years. Maybe someone once told you that you weren't smart enough, talented enough, or strong enough. Maybe you grew up in an environment where people settled for less, and so you believed that's all you could ever have. These beliefs dig in deep and start shaping the choices you make, the risks you avoid, and even the goals you dare to dream about. The cruelest part is that most people never question them. They simply accept them as truth and live their whole lives in a box that was never meant for them. But here's what you need to know: every single one of these barriers is breakable. Fear, doubt, limiting beliefs. They're not walls made of stone, they're illusions made of smoke. The moment you challenge them, they start to disappear. You've done this before, whether you realize it or not. There have been moments in your life where you ignored fear, pushed past doubt, or proved a limiting belief wrong. And in those moments, you tasted freedom. That freedom is what happens when you reclaim your power from the lies that have been holding you hostage. The secret to unlocking your hidden power lies in facing these inner barriers head-on. It's about catching yourself in the moment, when fear tries to shut you down and saying, "I hear you, but I'm moving anyway." It's about recognizing when doubt creeps in and choosing to trust your effort instead of your excuses. It's about questioning the beliefs you've carried and asking, "Who told me that, and why am I still listening?" The more you do this, the more cracks begin to form in the walls that surround you. And once the cracks are there, the light starts breaking through. You were not designed to live small. You were not created to be imprisoned by your own mind. The power you're searching for cannot coexist with fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs. You have to confront them, break them, and move beyond them. Because the moment you decide that these barriers will no longer define you, that's the moment your hidden power begins to rise, and nothing will ever be able to hold you. Third step in unlocking your hidden power is realizing that everything you need is already inside you, waiting to be activated. Too many people live their lives searching outside of themselves, believing that power, strength, and confidence are things to be found in other people, external achievements, or material possessions. They chase after recognition, approval, or success, thinking those things will finally give them the sense of power they crave. But the truth is, nothing outside of you can give you the kind of strength that transforms your life. It's already within you, buried under layers of doubt, fear, and distraction, and it's waiting for you to claim it. Think about this: every single human being comes into the world with potential beyond measure. You've already survived moments that you thought would break you. You've already overcome struggles that others might not even know about. That alone is proof that there is a reservoir of strength within you that you may not have fully tapped into yet. The challenge is not that you don't have the power. The challenge is that you've forgotten how to connect with it. Most of the time, people are too busy comparing themselves to others. They look at someone else's success, and that person has something they don't. But comparison is a trap, because it blinds you to your own gifts. It makes you overlook the unique talents, skills, and experiences that you've built up over time. Unlocking your hidden power requires you to stop chasing what everyone else has and start recognizing what's already in your hands. Your mind, your resilience, your creativity, your faith, your ability to learn, your ability to adapt. These are your weapons, and they are more powerful than you've ever been led to believe. It also comes down to self-trust. At some point, you have to decide to stop second-guessing yourself and start relying on that inner voice that has guided you before. You've had moments where you felt an instinct, a deep knowing that told you exactly what to do. And when you listened, it led you somewhere powerful. That instinct isn't random. It's part of the inner power you carry. When you silence the noise of the world long enough to hear yourself, you'll find clarity, and with clarity comes strength. But here's the catch: unlocking that inner power isn't a one-time event, it's a daily choice. Every day you're faced with situations that either strengthen your connection to your inner power or weaken it. When you choose courage over comfort, you unlock it. When you choose discipline over excuses, you unlock it. When you choose honesty over denial, you unlock it. Every small choice is like turning the key just a little further, and eventually the door to your full potential swings wide open. It's also about embracing responsibility. Power doesn't grow in people who blame the world for their problems. It grows in those who take ownership of their lives, who understand that even if they didn't create all their challenges, they have the power to choose how to respond. Responsibility is the fuel that activates your hidden strength, because the moment you accept that your life is in your hands, you start to realize just how much control you actually have. The truth is, you don't need to wait for anyone to hand you power. You don't need permission, validation, or approval. What you need is already here, inside of you, ready to be used. And once you understand that, once you begin to trust and activate what's within, nothing outside of you can truly stop you. Because when you tap into that hidden reservoir, one of the most powerful ways to unlock your hidden potential is by breaking through the walls of fear that you've built up around yourself. Fear disguises itself in many forms. It shows up as procrastination, as excuses, as doubt, as hesitation. Sometimes it doesn't look like fear at all. It looks like being too busy, too distracted, too uncertain. But underneath all of it is the same thing: fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being judged, fear of not being enough. And as long as those fears remain unchallenged, they will act like chains around your power, keeping you from stepping into who you were meant to be. Every single one of us has moments when fear whispers louder than our dreams. It tells us that trying is too risky, that stepping forward might bring embarrassment, that chasing what we want might lead to disappointment. And because of that voice, too many people shrink back into the comfort of the familiar. They trade possibility for safety, and in doing so, they bury the strength and potential that was waiting to come alive. The truth is, fear is not proof that you can't succeed. Fear is a signal that you're standing on the edge of growth. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't feel it. Fear only shows up when something important is on the line. The moment you stop running from fear and start facing it, everything begins to shift. Fear loses its power when you confront it. Think about it. How many times have you been terrified to do something, only to realize once you did it, the fear had no weight at all? That's because most of the time, fear exists only in your mind, not in reality. It's a story your brain creates to protect you from discomfort. But if you let that story dominate your life, you'll never discover how strong you really are. Breaking through fear doesn't mean you'll suddenly stop feeling it. It means you learn to move forward even with it. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to act in spite of it. And every time you take action in the face of fear, you expand your capacity, you stretch your limits, and you prove to yourself that you're more powerful than the thing that tried to hold you back. Slowly, fear stops being the wall it once was, and it becomes a doorway to your next level. The key is to reframe your relationship with fear. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" ask, "What if I never try?" Instead of imagining the worst-case scenario, imagine the best-case outcome. Fear is energy, and energy can either paralyze you or propel you. The choice is always in your hands. Will you let fear keep you in the shadows, or will you use it as the very fuel that drives you into the light? Every great breakthrough in history came from someone who refused to let fear be the final answer. They felt it, they acknowledged it, but they acted anyway. And you can do the same. When you shift your perspective, when you see fear not as a stop sign, but as a signal that you're growing, you take back control. You stop being a prisoner of your doubts and start being the master of your destiny. At the end of the day, fear only has as much power as you allow it to have. And the moment you decide that your dreams, your purpose, and your future matter more than your fear, that's the moment you unlock a strength that no obstacle can match. Because once you break through fear, you'll realize it was never as big as it seemed. There comes a time when you realize that unlocking your hidden power isn't just about what you know, or even about what you believe. It's about how you shape your environment and the people you surround yourself with. You can have the greatest vision, the strongest desire, and the clearest plan. But if your circle doesn't support that vision, your energy will be drained before you even begin. The truth is, your environment is either fueling your growth or feeding your limitations. And most people don't even notice how much they're influenced by the energy around them until it's too late. Think about it. Spend enough time with people who constantly complain, and soon you'll start finding more reason. Be around those who always doubt themselves, and you'll catch yourself doubting your own capabilities. On the other hand, spend time with people who dream big, who take action, who push themselves beyond their comfort zone, and something inside you awakens. Their courage sparks courage in you, their consistency reminds you to stay steady, and their hunger for more reminds you of your own potential. That's why it's not just important, it's essential to choose your environment wisely. And it's not only about people. Your environment includes your habits, your routines, your physical space, even the information you consume daily. If the first thing you do every morning is scroll through negativity, don't be surprised when your energy feels low before the day even begins. But if you start with intention, if you fill your mind with thoughts that expand you rather than shrink you, if you design your day in a way that aligns with who you want to become, then your environment starts working for you instead of against you. You have to ask yourself, does my environment reflect the person I want to be, or the person I've been settling to be? Because the answer to that question will either hold you back or launch you forward. Growth isn't just about discipline. It's about design. If your space is cluttered with distractions, if your schedule is full of things that drain you, if your circle is filled with people who pull you back every time you try to step ahead, then you're fighting a battle you don't need to fight. But when you design your environment with intention, success becomes less about willpower and more about flow. This is why so many people feel stuck. They think they lack motivation, when in reality, they're just trying to run uphill while carrying the weight of a toxic environment on their backs. Imagine how much lighter, how much freer, how much more powerful you'd feel if you chose to surround yourself with voices that lift you up, with spaces that inspire clarity, and with routines that build momentum. That's the power of environment. It either multiplies your strength or drains it. It won't always be easy. Sometimes the hardest part is realizing that certain relationships, certain habits, certain environments you've grown comfortable with are the very things keeping you small. Letting go of them feels uncomfortable, but you have to remember that discomfort is the price of growth. You can't step into your hidden power while clinging to everything that represents your limitations. Something has to give. So start by looking around you with honesty. Look at your circle, your daily patterns, your space. Ask yourself, does this align with the version of me I'm unlocking? If the answer is no, it's time to shift. Because your hidden power doesn't just come from what's inside you. It comes alive when you place yourself in an environment that allows it to flourish. And once you do that, once you surround yourself with the right influences, the right energy, the right design, you'll find that your hidden power no longer feels out of reach. It feels inevitable. The final step in unlocking your hidden power is to embrace consistent action and perseverance. You can dream, you can plan, you can visualize, you can break through fear. But none of it matters if you don't take action and keep taking it even when the journey gets tough. Too many people start with excitement, but stop at the first sign of resistance. They believe the path to success should feel smooth, but in reality, the road to greatness is paved with obstacles. And it's not the most talented or the most gifted who reach their highest potential. It's the ones who refuse to quit. Think about this. The difference between those who achieve extraordinary results and those who remain stuck isn't intelligence, luck, or opportunity. It's persistence. It's the relentless decision to keep moving forward, even when progress feels invisible. It's waking up on the days you don't feel like it and doing the work anyway. It's holding on to your vision when others can't see it, and it's trusting yourself enough to keep showing up no matter how long it takes. Momentum is built through consistent action. Every small step adds up. You may not notice the change immediately, but over time, those efforts compound into something powerful. A single workout doesn't make you strong, but months of discipline transform your body. 1 hour of studying doesn't make you an expert, but consistent learning sharpens your mind. One act of courage doesn't change your life, but repeated bravery rewrites your story. The same is true for unlocking your hidden potential. It's not about one massive leap. It's about the daily choices, the daily disciplines, the daily acts of commitment that turn potential into reality. And let's be clear, perseverance doesn't mean never feeling tired, never doubting, never struggling. It means continuing despite all of that. It means staying rooted in your why. When your energy feels low, it means remembering why you started in the first place when you're tempted to give up. Every challenge that comes your way is not there to stop you. It's there to strengthen you. Each obstacle is shaping you, sharpening you, preparing you for the very thing you've been asking for. If everything came easily, you would never grow into the person capable of handling the success you desire. When you stay consistent, you also begin to trust yourself on a deeper level. You build integrity with your own word. Every time you promise yourself something and follow through, you reinforce the belief that you are someone who takes action. That self-trust becomes unshakable, and it carries you forward through even the darkest seasons. On the other hand, every time you break that promise, you weaken your own foundation. That's why consistency is not just about habits, it's about identity. You become what you repeatedly do. So don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait until you feel ready. You'll never feel completely ready. You just start. You take the first step, then the next, and the next. And when you stumble, you get back up. Because success isn't about never falling. It's about always rising. Your hidden power isn't unlocked in one moment of inspiration. It's revealed over a lifetime of persistence, discipline, and resilience. When you choose consistent action and refuse to let setbacks define you, you prove to yourself and the world that nothing can stand in your way. And that's when you truly unlock your